Hey guys, Solar here, back again with another edition of Flashback Fridays, and what I have for you today is the Hasbro Marvel Legends Sasquatch Build-A-Figure Wave Deathlok. Now before we get into the meat and taters of this review, since I no longer have the packaging for this figure, let us first take a look-see at one of his accessories, this big-ass minigun, which, let's look at the size of this thing, man. Pretty sweet, huh? Do some damage with that. Should be worth noting the ammo bell is removable. It can plug in on the other side, but unfortunately it does not slide through the gun like a traditional minigun should. But realistically, if you were to be firing this, I think it would come out of the side once the rounds have been used. But don't hold me to that, because I'm not a gun expert. That said, it does have a rotating barrel, which is really cool. Looking at you, G.I. Joe Roadblock. The first one. Your weird tuning fork gun. Why didn't that at least rotate? If it's not going to look cool, at least give it a feature, right? And he can hold it here on the back. And that's it. Really, it should have another handle like up here. Kind of goes out. But as you can see, he only has one grip hand. So that's about my only gripe with this guy, is he does not have two trigger finger hands. But taking a closer look at Deathlok here, getting his arm out of the way for a moment. He does also come with his little futuristic pistol with a little scope on the top. And I think that's an ammo clip sticking out the bottom. And this will actually work in either hand. His open hand does have a finger sculpted to work in the trigger guard of this gun. So that's pretty cool. At least you get that, I suppose. I guess really my only other gripe with this figure is that he didn't come with a smaller, bigger gun, something in between this and the big MF and minigun he comes with. But the fan channel exclusive X-Force repaint actually takes care of that. And we'll actually be taking a look at that next week. So, a closer look at Deathlok here. Anyone else getting Iron Maiden Somewhere in Time vibes with this guy? I mean, let's be honest here. What do you think was the inspiration? Look at his face. He does have the yellow eye. I'm more of a fan of the red eye. And he is actually bald here. He does not have any hair, whereas the old Toy Biz figure from the Galactus Build-A-Figure wave had a bit of a buzz cut going on. But considering the fact that he's a zombie, having no hair makes a little bit more sense. That said, he has some really nice paint on his torso here. It's really clean. This tuber does come out and goes back in really well. And if I'm not mistaken, this was, next to the Ghost Rider that came out the same year, my favorite Marvel Legend of this year, which was 2018, if I'm not mistaken. So Deathlok ranks really high for me. I always liked his character. I always liked his design. I think he's really, really badass looking. I mean, you're not going to mess with this guy, are you? First of all, he's built like a truck, just about. Maybe not cable big, but big enough. And he's a freaking zombie, so he obviously ain't afraid of shit. He's not afraid of dying. Come on, he's already dead. It's a reanimated corpse. Frankenstein-esque. Ooh, I just love this guy. His backpack is also removable. By the way, there you go. Just has one peg, and then it kind of clips onto his neck there. You can peg that right back in. Really solid. But as far as articulation on this guy goes, his head is on disc hinge. So you can look up, look down, side to side. Does have a little bit of tilt. No lollipop syndrome though, so that's good. Shoulders go out to the side, back down, forward and back. Bicep swivel. Does have a double joint at the elbow, which works pretty well. Does have swivel in the wrist as well as a hinge, and should be worth noting, he's got the horizontal hinge on this side. Check that out. That's the way it should be, man. I just wish he had two of them. You can never have your cake and eat it, I guess, right? As far as his ab crunch goes, he has one click forward. Is it just one click or is it two? One. and that's it. And this is kind of a luck of the draw with this figure, because sometimes you'll have a loosey-goosey one, sometimes you'll have a tight one, like mine. Mine's not too bad. If you take this backpack off, I think he clicks back one time. He does have a waist swivel. Does have forward and back in the hip, as well as out, back down, thigh cut, double joint at the knee. Works really well. It's got a boot swivel, a hinge in the foot with a rocker joint, and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So yeah, Deathlok is a really cool figure, man. I don't know what else to say about this guy other than you need to buy it, because he's actually, I don't think he's too expensive. Much like the Cygor I looked at yesterday for Throwback Thursdays, not really expensive. I think he might be pushing 30 now, might, but for the longest time he was like 20-25 bucks. So if you don't have this guy, you need to try and track him down and pick him up. I mean, let's be honest here. What we have going on clearance nowadays is that piece of shit Eternals wave. This is what used to go on clearance in late 2018. Like, what? There is no comparison. I am sorry, but this is 10,000 times better than half the crap Hasbro's forcing down our throats nowadays. I am sorry, but not sorry. So with that being said, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is Deathlok next to a couple other popular 90s Marvel characters. Darkhawk from the Titus Build-A-Figure wave, and Sleepwalker from the Rentra Build-A-Figure wave. Still haven't gotten around to reviewing this figure, but hopefully someday. And can we please go back to badass comic book characters doing badass things? I mean, come on, man, who's with me? And last, but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, 11th Spawn, who as usual, towers over everyone. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and if you didn't hear me the first time, you 110% need to pick this guy up and add him to your Marvel Legends collection ASAP. Whether you're a fan of Deathlok or just 90s Marvel characters in general, this guy is a worthy addition to anyone's Marvel Legends display. And one of the best Marvel Legends we've ever gotten from Hasbro. In my opinion, one of my favorites as well. Whether it's the year 2018 or otherwise, I think this guy holds up quite nicely considering the fact that yes, he does have pins. And yes, he does not have all the bells and whistles like some Marvel Legends do nowadays. But at the end of the day, I don't think he really needs them because you're getting what you pay for here. Yeah, it would have been nice if he came with an extra head, hands, or even a gun, but considering the fact that at the time, this was a 100% unique mold, and he came with a Build-A-Figure piece for Sasquatch on top of that, I definitely think you're getting what you pay for. And considering the fact that this guy is not going for crazy money on the secondary market, at least not last I checked, he was somewhere between $20 and $30, carded, that's right, carded. There is no excuse for why you shouldn't be adding this guy to your Marvel Legends collection sooner rather than later. So please do yourself a favor and get on that. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's edition of Flashback Fridays. And if you are so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. If you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is, especially when not enough people are appreciating cool-ass Marvel Legends figures like this guy right here. I mean, come on, man, just look at this figure. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.